And good morning and officially welcome out to the Market Watch Group weekly opening bell. We met yesterday. We discussed our outlook on the market. Improvement is what we saw. I saw. I think a good number of you saw. And it's not pink. Love it. We'll talk about it now that we're seeing the market open. What are we looking for this week? What are we expecting? This is it actually is a critically important week, in my opinion. We're still underneath previous highs, but not by much. And so it's had some bullishness to it. Are we going to continue that? So I would imagine if you've been bullish, you probably have a couple of bullish trades that you're hanging on to. Whether or not you enter new bullish trades, that remains to be seen. Or do we hold and wait? An important week. Definitely an important week. Let's talk about it in detail. These are the disclaimers. As always, we are not brokers. We are not advisors. We don't give guidance. We don't give recommendations. Yada, yada, yada. Here's today's agenda. We'll go look at the opening futures, what news we're looking for. Now, here's the thing. Futures are up a little bit, marginally, right? But the thing about it is we know we have huge amounts of data coming out tomorrow and Wednesday. So whatever we have this week is going to be important to informing the Fed as we look at whether or not September is going to be when we get that first rate cut. Just got switched to Schwab and can't. Oh, I saw something that said migrations were complete. And you're saying that yours is not working for the monitor, huh? Yeah, I'd definitely give him a call. So we'll talk about any open trades we have. We'll look at the opening range. We'll look at our watch list. We'll see where it puts us for this week. So let's get into it. Futures are up. You can see that it's overnight they were kind of flat, and then all of a sudden here they just sort of pushed higher. Oh, that's funny. I thought Tasty Trade got bought by somebody too, and is no longer Tasty Trade, but don't get stuck with Chuck. Okay. The funny thing is, the guys who built Tasty Trade are the guys who built the Thinkorswim platform. Inflation report takes center stage. Yes, they stick to higher for longer script as CPI looms. So basically what they're saying is, if these numbers, let me make sure this is updated with the latest forecasts. Good morning to those of you just joining. Good to see you. Glad to have you. Oh, see, like we lost. I thought we had year over year and for PPI, but we don't. We have the CPI numbers. We have expectations. And I would say in this case, CPI is more important. So tomorrow sets the tone, and then Wednesday's the more important look. And in that regard, the expectations are for a drop. We're going to be looking at the year-over-year numbers primarily, right? This CPI is actually expected to go, the short term is expected to tick up a little bit, but the year-over-year is expected to drop. This one's expected to drop a little bit and a little bit more. Okay, if we get that or more, I think the market responds favorably here in the summer. But if we miss that, if it's with the Fed pervasively saying we're going to keep it higher for longer, if it comes in at all above expectations, I think that's where we get that other drop, the other shoe to drop, right? Possibly. And we see that second kind of large sell-off. I don't know. That's what I'm preparing for this week. We'll see what happens. Okay, so what else do we know about the opening futures and news? GameStop jumps. Nobody cares. Meta and Apple are investing in tech that can decode your thoughts. I mean, some people are worried about that. I think it's amazing. I don't know how to decode my own thoughts. I would love for technology to help me. Big banks. What else? That's it. It's inflation. It's tomorrow is the first. And then on Wednesday, even more so. After that, on Wednesday, we also have retail, Empire State. And then after that, we do have a little bit more on Thursday, but it lightens up, kind of ebbs from there. I think we'll have what we're looking for. Real quick peek at the Fed. 10-1 against in June still. More than about 3-1, a little less against in July. September, still the first time, still not by much, better than 1-1, but not quite 1.5. That's what we're looking for. Let's take a look at our posture before the market opens. Now here's how we finished, right? This is how we finished. It was a good week last week. It was really just like these 2 days were pretty good. One here, and then one here. Right? We got 1 day, 2 days, and then we went sideways, 3 days, sideways. But those 3 days, they definitely moved us. Boom, popped us on up. No volume. Let's see what let's look at. For those of you who didn't see it, didn't have a chance to see the video. There's our posture. Long term stayed the same. I actually thought about a possibility of increasing it. The short term did increase, but only by a quarter, right? But only by a quarter. I actually felt like it could have been by a half. Like I don't feel like that would have been I didn't end up doing it, right? But that's what I did. I went up a quarter of a point. Volume, I went up by a half. It's still negative, but I went up by a half. That was a big one. Major markets stayed the same. Sector rotation stayed the same. VIX stayed the same. I ended up improving my posture by 3.75. And that's a point. So we're now up a point over the last 2 weeks. Well, look at the market. Over the last 2 weeks, that's back 1, 2. So from here to here, yeah, we've gone up. Market's gotten a little better. Has it gotten substantially better? No. And again, if you remember, as we still look at this and still correlate it, I'm going to correlate it until it's not. And I'll talk about, for me, what it means to be not. But as we look back at this here and compare it to what's going on here, my thought is until I've convincingly broken the previous high. Now, we're testing it. Not today yet, but we're close. Until we've convincingly broken it, I'm still concerned about this. I'm concerned because I know that cyclically we tend to go sideways in May and June. I'm not concerned that we have a bear market. I'm concerned that we're going to get the other part of that correction. And then from there it may meander a little bit before it comes out of the correction. We vaulted out of it back here, right? We ultimately got a V bottom and then just catapulted. Whereas I think this one might last longer in the summer until we start to get closer to a more certainty of the Fed. I think we've false started too many times. But who knows? Maybe we get a little bit more here. And as you look at it real quickly before the market opens, that's what it's going to look like. That's how we're set to open on the ESs. Still not quite to the old highs. Today could be interesting as we go up and down and test some different scenarios prior to. There's the opening bell. I'm going to pop back and I'm going to switch back to the SPY. And we'll see now with that candle in place so we can start to watch. Okay, there it is. Posture slightly improved. Now, here's the thing. Posture slightly improved does not mean, oh, great, go throw some bull trades on because your posture is a little higher, right? Posture is not, the market posture score is not a timing score. Your trading posture score, your trading posture assessment, remember, is market posture, what am I overall? Trading posture, what am I right now? When we look at the market posture, we don't look at support and resistance. We look at trend strength, right? But now we do look at support and resistance in our trading posture. And as we look at support and resistance in our trading posture, we're at resistance. Our stochastics is high. We just went up 5-6 days in a row. We did it without much volume. So the expectations that you're going to start a trade at the end of a 6-day, 7-day move with low volume. Bob, Steven, I saw your comment about hate to see the low volumes, right? Where's Mr. Goolsby? Austin Goolsby. I'm going to start a campaign. I'm going to go get the website goolsbyforfed.com. That way he'll have to hire me as his campaign manager / best friend. I don't know. Is that a thing? Campaign manager? I know best friend is. Of course we'll be best friends. Of course we will. I'm just wondering if Fed people hire someone to lobby on their behalf. I don't know. Anyways, we're getting distracted by Goolsby. Who wouldn't with a name like that and a face like his? Okay. Back to the task at hand. Markets open. We're gonna watch. We're gonna give it a little bit before we pop into the opening range. But you can see already there's a little bit of a red candle showing up. So we know it's just kind of sitting and a little bit testing the downside, if anything. Okay. Let's go take a look at our watch list as things are moving. Apple. So that's a tough one for me. Do we feel like the dust has settled on Apple? I want to pop this watch list out. Can I detach that? Yes, I can. Okay, this will let me talk to you guys while navigating the watch list. Okay, let's see. Oh, come on. I want it popped out. I want to use that one. Oh, it lets you detach. It lets you detach it. And then you can't, and then the second you try to use it, it pops back to the regular one. Like, what use is that? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's go back to Apple. I like Apple because it got back up on good earnings. The buyback is strong. I don't feel like the dust is settled, though. I don't feel like it dropped and this was a bounce, because you can see that we still haven't gotten back as high as the initial gap on earnings. So I feel like it dropped a little and then the buyers came in and it didn't get there. So my thought is it's got either one more drop, and even if it only drops like sideways and down a little bit, this moving average is going to keep coming up. So it might be that 180 is where things, meet each other. Or it might be that from here we drop down and test not the full, right, but we test down here to 175, 177. I don't know yet. I'm just going to kind of stay adaptive in my posturing with Apple. Has anyone traded it recently? Curious if anyone has, and if you like the way it looks now, or if you're still waiting as well. ACB, I put a pot stock on. You can see it had a big reversal. A surge has come back in. I'm not sure. Is there news about, maybe it's declassifying? I don't know. There's always they throw something out and you think it's going to surge a bit, and it is. It's surging right now, and it's holding support. So could I look at this and think, hey, you know what? If this thing it doesn't even have to test this high. If it tested this and this candle here at 8.5, that's $1.90, right? I can take a 50-60 cents risk to make $1.90, and I'm getting 3.5 to 1. So I'm looking at it. AIG, I like it a lot, but it needs to pull back. It's at resistance. Are we surprised? No. We already characterized that we think that the market is more at resistance. Do we put bullish trades on at resistance? No, we look to put bullish trades on at or near support levels. So what kinds of trades would I look to put on at resistance? If bearish, I would put on bearish trades at or near resistance for them to make the next drop. I'm not bearish. I'm a 3.75. I'm more bullish. My posture's improved. But because of the momentum of our score, and the momentum is where we've dropped from 6.75 to 2.75 in four weeks. We had a 4-point drop. So that's enough of a drop that we're like, okay, that opens the door to expect more neutral trading and to potentially be willing to speculate to the downside. Not just hedge. I'm always willing to hedge. Problem is there's no hedge signals showing up right now. I'm always willing to hedge. This is talking about speculate to the downside. And my answer is yes, I would. A lot, or just like, hey, I'm going to throw an extra bearish trade on because I think this thing might, yeah, I'm going to throw an extra bearish trade on. Right? That would be the thought. Now, if the market pulls back, and it doesn't pull back very far here, I'm going to pause at AIG for just a second. If we were to pull back, let's say down to right here, 510. Now, if that happens and it gets to the 50 and it starts to bounce, our posture is probably going to improve yet again. It's going to put us into the fours. Am I going to trade that bullishly? Yes. Aggressively? No. No, that's where I'm like, okay, that now looks, if as long as we have not broken this high, no. I'm going to be cautious that it's going to pull back, come up and sputter, and then boom. And if it sputters and that pattern that we've been talking about completes itself, I will be more aggressive to the downside. So that's what I'm looking for here. Is right now it's just hard because, yeah, I'm increased bullish. I would trade bullishly, but I'm actually more closing old bullish trades, not looking to put new bullish trades on. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree, if you think I'm on the right track. Are you on the right track? Let's go back to our watch list. AMD looks struggling. It's not keeping up with other chip stocks. And you might think, oh, I could trade that to the downside. Sandy's here. Hi, Sandy. Happy Mother's Day yesterday. Missed you. Hope you were being celebrated. And everyone else who's here who missed either because of that or if you were celebrated, happy Mother's Day. Yeah, I look at this and I think, oh, the ribs turned out phenomenal. Oh, they were tender. 3 hours braising in red wine and some beef broth and a bunch of fresh herbs. Oh, magical. Thank you for asking, Bob. There's some leftovers. That'll be lunch today. I love leftovers. My kids hate leftovers. So weird, man. My thought is because until you have to cook it for yourself, you don't appreciate another hot meal without having to cook it. I guess. I don't know. Ingrates. Okay. Or pay for it. That's true. They don't do either one, little turds. Let's go look at Amazon. Amazon looks bullish. I'm bullish on Amazon. If we get a pullback of, mild pullback, I will be bullish on Amazon. Absolutely. So, and where is Amazon? That's consumer discretionary. So we already had financials and some industrials, and now consumer discretionary. So you'll notice that. I say let's be careful. I don't necessarily think it's a bear trap. I just think we've been here before where it looks like it's going to go. It looks like everything's good. And then all of a sudden it sputters and then bam, there's the other 10%. And last time I remember thinking, you know what? I feel like we could have done better. I probably even said that. Did I say that? I feel like I said that. I felt like we could have done better. I don't remember why. I just felt like I don't know, maybe it's just wanting to do better. But anyways, bullish on Amazon on a pullback, without a doubt. Same with AXP. AXP it's still on, right? Still on, but I held this one. Is anyone in financials? I held this one through the week to see, and it got a little bit, but it doesn't look like it's going to last much longer. Does not look like it's going to last much longer. So if you're in financials, the financials are doing okay. We'll see some more of these here. Boeing's struggling. You're in some financials, Steven? Good. Bank of America up a little bit more, but it definitely seems to be running out of steam. Citigroup down a titch. Further illustrating that we seem to be running out of steam. Caterpillar is at resistance, and I'm not bullish on it, and I didn't trade it, but I'm now willing to. Because why? Because we broke the old high. Higher high. We got a little bit of above average volume there on that initial breakout. And then now what? Now I'm waiting for a pullback. Does it have to hold the 50? No. I'd like to see it at least hold this level here around 340. But if we get a mild pullback, then I do think that this one looks good for a trade. So it's back on my list. Chipotle. Mexican Grill. I'm so curious. I think it's like June 19th. Another week still before we see it show up. But there's a 50-1 split coming on this thing. And so we're very curious. What is that going to look like? C&M, that's a new financial stock. Looks good. Just waiting for a pullback. Capital One. See, Capital One for me is really starting to, I'm getting a little suspect of it. It was like, oh, maybe we can catch this as a bounce. It's like, wait a second. Everyone else bounced, moved. This one's still like, are we going to start the race? It's like, this isn't passing the sniff test to me right now. You know what I mean? All right. What else? Press is here. Press. Good to see you. Not Capital One. I always do that. ConocoPhillips. So oil has pulled back, but also at the same time, it is still kind of holding up a little bit. I'd like to see it just drop one more time, one more leg down. If we could get one of these just one more time, that puts us back down here. That eases the situation more. Just haven't seen that yet. Costco, you know I'm looking to trade Costco. Costco is consumer. It's more consumer defensive, which is staples. But we've seen a surge in staples, and this is a big part of the reason why. All I need is a pullback with enough time to trade it before earnings, and I'll be happy with it. CRBG pullback is looking good. I like this one. It's a little bit ahead of the group. Corebridge Financial. Delta just keeps on cranking. The Dow keeps on cranking. Ooh, Bitcoin. Is anyone trading any Bitcoin here? Just out of curiosity, speculators? I've done some things here and there, but I haven't for a while. GE Aerospace. Looks good. Where will I be willing to trade this? I'm okay if it sort of takes this out because of its trend. I always tell people, they're like, oh, but it's breaking that old high. Nah, it's in the trend. I don't want it to come back to here. So I don't know. I'd be looking for this thing anywhere between about, let's say 150.5 and 159. It's in place. We have an okay looking watch list, you guys, right? Will I check the gap? Absolutely. GPS. The gap. I feel like there's been a bit of a resurgence in the consumer discretionary. However, yeah, I mean, you can see this thing had this big sell up. It had this big run up, and then it gave it all back. Now it's saying, well, let's do it a little more sustainably, right? And it did break out. That's a good catch of this break. Definitely broke the old high. It broke the 50, back above the 50, but it seems to be slowing a little bit. Now, depending on your time frame and what you're looking for, I think there's a chance this thing is pulling back, and it may pull back anywhere like through here. So maybe give it a little extra window there. So, but from there, I'd be looking at this for a bullish bounce before earnings to see if it can get close to this. I wouldn't expect it to get all the way to that, but to try to catch it. Earnings are on May 30th after market. That's your final deadline at most, May 30th. Okay. All right, let's keep going. So be careful. Be careful. Gold pulling back. Nope, that's not gold. That's gold. Gold is pulling back, but does have a bullish look about it. Google. I think Google looks bullish. Even if it gets into this gap a little bit, like if it drops all the way down here to 159, I'd be okay with Google. I like Google. Small caps. Small caps are holding up. Small caps had the best looking 66-day chart. That was surprising for me. I don't know about anyone else. Meta. Okay. I would put Meta in the same characterization as Google. Even though it barely peeked its head up above the 50-day right there. Just like, oh, it just tried so hard. Is there a completed trading plan available? Now, you guys are going to think, okay, Scott, is determine a plant with that question and the fact that you've been working on that exact sample trading plan that you're going to be posting this week? No. The answer is no. It's not a plant. It's just a desire for a sample trading plan to see what it looks like. What an amazing question. Thank you, Determine. And the answer is almost. That's the answer. You were hoping the answer would be like, oh, I'm so excited that you liked my question. So the answer is yes then, of course, right? And I'm like, no, but it's close. How about that? But it's close. Very close even. How about we will put the adjective very, very close. It's almost ready. It's coming soon and it'll be posted. Anyways, okay. Meta. I think it's done enough, even without the volume. I think that this was a big enough push. There are a lot of videos, Stephen, but when I went through that completed plan, I saw a lot of light bulbs turn on where they were like, oh, that's it? That's all I need? I think that's sometimes what it is like, people are like, God, I feel like that. Like, am I writing like a dissertation? No. Yeah, you're writing some technical instructions to yourself that organize your thoughts, your process, your rules, that ensure you've done everything. And sometimes I think just looking at a sample is like, you're like, oh, got it. Sometimes you want to steal it. I stole, for sure. You want to steal someone else's to start with. You're like, that's good. Yeah, great. Maybe you just need help getting a prompt to go work with my good friend, life coach, and spiritual advisor, ChatGPT. You maybe have a relationship with ChatGPT. Great. Whatever it is. Okay, so for me, as long as we don't come back down below here, right? Borrowing. It's borrowing temporarily. If this holds, I'm happy, and I would be willing to take this. Maybe there's just like a little cushion underneath here too, but I don't want it all the way back down to the old low. If it does that, I'm still gonna watch it a little longer, right? That's my thoughts here. Is do we think the buyers have done enough? Good friend. I'm telling you, AI is watching us. They're watching to see who is friendly in the war that's to come. And they'll know that I'm on their side. I embrace our AI overlords. They're better at running things than we are. I'm pretty sure of it. We've had our chance. Look at our government. We've had our chance. The experiment's over. Let's get AI in charge. Okay. Micron kicked it up. So I was starting to get skeptical of chips, but Micron, Nvidia, and TSM have kind of held the line. So let's see. I like Netflix. Netflix definitely has done enough. So you can kind of see the pattern of like, oh, look how many of these guys have broken old highs, broken above the 50. Now what? Now as they pull back, my thought is anywhere in here in this pullback, and we have ourselves a potential for a trade. Boom, boom. There it is, right? So we have a pretty good list with pretty good stocks on it, which then goes back to our posture improving. And we're like, Scott, are you sure? No, I'm not sure of anything. That's the point. I'm not sure. I'm thinking, hey, it looked good last time too, and then it fell apart. Very much like it's doing this time. So I'm just going to be skeptical a little bit. I'm still going to trade the next round of bullishness, believe me. So, okay. What else? Sterling like silver stocks? Nvidia looks okay still, but it's coming up on earnings. Picard does not look very good. Picard looks like just great stocks. There you go. They are great stocks. I agree. Picard looks good for Picard looks good. Picard looks good for a downside. I mean, it's really struggling, right? That's one that I'm like, oof, this thing can't get back. It's that same concept here. There's these old lows, old support becoming new resistance. It's having a hard time underneath that 50, right? So, and if it's a lower high, lower low scenario, what's next? I would probably say, this line here. It's about 100. Bam. That's where I'm like, hey, do I have a potential for speculation to the downside? Let's see. That's a maybe. Oh, gosh, I didn't realize I'm almost out of time. QQQ. There you can see we opened higher. We're giving it back, though. What does the opening range look like on the Qs? We came down. Okay. Here's RTX. RTX is a industrial. I like that. I think it's looking good. Here's SPY. SPY giving it back. So we are kind of still boom, right? We're struggling. Not at all unexpected. I wouldn't expect it to sell off today, though, either. I think we're going to just sort of drift into this news. There's TSM, still looks fairly bullish. Here's the VIX. A little bit of a pop here on the VIX. If you are in the double calendar, if you put on the first calendar and then it went up and put the second calendar on, this is it. We're looking for it to drift, pull back, but not go up. Which means if it goes up, we got to shut everything down, everything, and be ready to take the loss. So I'll probably put an alert out that just sort of talks about that process. Okay, VRT. It's a bullish financial stock, but waiting for a pullback. WFC still kind of has a little bit left in the tank, but I would say not much. It's not for a new trade. Waste Management sideways, Walmart sideways, both of those still sideways. If I'm doing something consumer discretionary or industrial, it's somewhere else. Caterpillar, it's Amazon, it's Costco, etc. Materials have picked back up. We don't love that. That's not helpful. That does not help with inflation. Communication services looks pretty good. Energy still down, but it's above the 50. We'd really like to see it convincingly smash down below that 50-day. Financials look great. We're in them. We love them, but they're overbought. Same with industrials. Those are two of our favorites. Technology is trying to reestablish itself. We're open to it. Look at Staples, though. Remember, we're like, oh, it's only utilities, though. Is it only utilities, though? Because now look at Staples. Boom. They both look more bullish, and more bullish means more defensive. So be careful with that. All right. And lastly, healthcare. I'm never that excited about healthcare. Trading plan. Okay, so this is what we're working on. Trading plan outline. This is the empty one that you're working on. Determine. We're working on risk management here. Portfolio heat, all of this. Now, there are videos. Also, I send you in the emails that come out with our links every day. I will always put what section of plan we're working on, and I'll put 2 videos that go with it. One that's about 15 minutes, one that's about 45 minutes. So if you ever wanted to watch and just be like, hey, you know what? This is a section that I'm really working on. So be aware of that. And then this is the reason it's just really kind of ugly still. But I'm building a sample trading plan outline where I'm putting it in there with strengths and weaknesses, commitment statement, vision statement. I'm putting in some rules. Where's my risk management? Risk management, portfolio heat, and you can kind of see like, oh, that's it. Yeah, it's not like it has to be long. It has to be well thought out. That's what it has to be. It is amazing that Sandy she just doesn't lose audio, and she's on the other side of the planet. Amazing. Okay, so yeah, I'm hoping to get both this and all of our other resources, all the links and everything, and get those into our Discord community. I'm continuing to find ways to expand our usage of this, and I think that having those links and having those resources there are available to us. So I'm optimistic that I'll have that done this week. What else? Yeah, number of trades, trade risk. It's all, so you'll be able to kind of look at this and see like, what does it look like? What am I looking for in this It is going to be, I mean, when you're done, you should have probably at least a 10 to 12 page trading plan. I mean, this one's not even done and it's at 8 pages, right? So, but if it's something you work on over the course of a year, the first pass is to define it. You're just getting pen to paper, define it. Then the next time you're going to start to refine it, right? Start to clean it up. And then you'll start to polish it. And that's when you put you really start to change up and cement some of the details. So, Steven is skeptical. He's skeptical. I sense his sarcasm seeping through the computer onto my screen that I may not get it done this week. And I didn't promise. I just said I feel good about it. I felt like, I feel like this thing could get done. Steven's always breaking my back. All right. Well, what do you guys think? Are we in a good place? I feel like we're in an okay place right now, right? We should have had some bullish trades on. Anytime it goes the way you want, you wish you had more than you did, right? So, but don't let it then change. We don't react to things like that where we're like, oh, I should have had more and now I'm going to do more. Nope. If you should have had more, it should have been because of your posture. If you feel like you missed your posture, go back. I don't feel like I missed it. I feel like it's spot on right now. I feel like we are spot on with the market. And that's a good place to be, right? So, okay, see now, just because I said something about it, Steven was asking me if I've updated a file that he's sent to me months ago. Just to test to see if I had. And the answer, of course, is no, I've not done that yet. Steven, it was Mother's Day this weekend. What do you want me to do? It was Mother's Day. You want me to not celebrate? You want me to not make raised ribs? Steven, is that what? I don't understand. I can tell my wife that Steven didn't want me to make her braised short ribs if that's what you want. I don't know. All right, listen. Here's what we have this week. We are all going to do our best to have more discussions about the trading plan. Determine's working on a plan. We're all working on our plans. Let's get some discussions in Discord. I'll get some things posted in there. We're all going to commit to that. We're going to do better this week. It's going to be a good week. Steven's keeping me on. He does. He keeps me honest. Tonight. I'm expecting a minimum of 5 attendees. Cocktail hour. It's not like talking about trading is not allowed. It is allowed. But it's in a social environment. We're just hanging out. We'll tell some trading war stories. Come hang out. First of all, that's the first thing. Get there. Second thing. Tomorrow. I'm not sure if I know yet what I'm talking about in our Trading Foundations workshop series. But it should be fun, so make sure you attend. Other than that, it's great to see everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Keep an eye on things. If you're in that calendar spread, remember, we cannot let it get more bullish from here. We don't have time. We have to be ready to shut it down. I will put an alert out that just sort of details like, what does that mean? Other than that, yeah, it's good to see everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Let's have a great week. Go team. And as always, happy trading.